ready to rediscover the beauty of Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. Join us every Thursday at 10 p.m. on Church of Uganda Family TV for the Pearl Show, your weekly.
In a time where every decision matters, where leadership, governance, and
it is that day that is getting people closer to the red and black confusion, as I call it, but the others call it Valentine. And you're welcome to the show. Baguma Richard, as always, is your host. And as you know, we rebranded the program to the Bottomline. So welcome to the Bottomline. It's your Church of Uganda Television, Family TV, and thank you so much for being with us at this time as we cruise the next 2 hours and we talk about the issues that affect our country. Today we are going to look at the issue that has made the media a little a buzz. It has made the social media even more on fire, and it's been quite a bit of discussion of something that has happened previously, but now it seems there is a new angle to it. And opposition members of parliament, who probably will not be members of parliament beyond May this year, but they are prominent names, went and met President Yoweri Museveni. And then a photo came out, and the media exploded. So what are the implications, if there are any at all? And that's what we are going to discuss. In the studio, I have Dr Arinaitwe Rugyendo. And I was told in the academic circles that to distinguish the doctor thing, you put the name Arinaitwe Rugyendo and then you put PhD at the end. So it will be understood why he's doctor. He's a newly doctorized doctor. So it's the first time we have him on the show after he has become PhD. Rugyendo, you are going to say hello to our viewers. I'm told that in some times when you get a PhD, you have a permanent head damage. But you're most welcome and congratulations.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, my colleague, panelists, and you, the viewers. I'm happy to be here, but my head is very, very fine. And I think the last time I sat on this same chair, that was for elections, and now I'm back after elections, and back and better and more probably sharper. I'm happy to be back here once again.
I'm told that you are...
And meet my fellow Westerner.
I'm told that you are one of those who went down during the elections.
Yes, that's correct.
And among other things, promoted ballot stuffing.
Not at all. I am I'm a good civically aligned Ugandan. It is true I was a member of the sub-regional coordinating team for Ankole region, and particularly I was coordinating Rwampara district, and largely because of the strategy which delivered, I think, very good results, that's the village-based mobilization strategy. I was also part of the people who designed it. So that is for candidate Yoweri Museveni? Candidate Yoweri Museveni. Okay, I just wanted to be sure that we don't say you are doing it for the Electoral Commission. Not at all. Not at all. Okay, so you're very welcome. Thank you, Richard. Welcome to the show. Thank you very much. Next to you is another PhD. Yes. He has had it a little longer. And that one is the regular. I'm going to start be calling him our in-house and regular panelist. Yes. He's a Pan-Africanist, chairman of the Pan-African movement. But more recently, he has added the GEO. What is that one? Dr. Rugarama, remind me. The Global Geostrategic Analyst. And today I am glad that he has pulled out the shirt. Yes. He hasn't pulled out the shirts previously, but now I think he feels grounded. And when he's speaking here, he puts his arms on the chair and said, "We in the NRM." Oh. You're most welcome. So he's removed all the speech. Oh yeah. Very welcome and say hi to our viewers.
A very good evening to our esteemed viewers. And salutations to my colleagues, Odongtho, Rugyendo, and to you, Comrade Baguma. Yesterday, when I posted the small caption that we are going to appear here this evening, some members from the Shema, you know, there is another part of this country called Shema. Very beautiful place. You need to come there more regularly. Hey, like Rugyendo, oh, you appear there. He said he's one of us. I was like, when did Rugyendo become one of us in Shema? I thought he was the other side.
Okay.
Then they went to Odongtho. So he said, oh, he was one of the best. I'm reporting
Actually,
what he said. One of the best guys to front line. So I hope I have paid my debt of reporting what you said.
Actually, I'm associated with Sheba because that's where my wife comes from.
Oh.
But importantly, it's the neighboring constituency or district actually.
To your home district.
Yes, to my home district.
Okay, so
The difference is the river Wiz basically, but otherwise.
But you know the
Our cows graze.
joke between him and me, as far as Shema is concerned, when he was trying to teach me some Nyankore.
and not in the basement though.
Not the basement. This one was
in the
consensual. This was consensual in a restaurant. So I said, so what do they call the people of Bashema? of Shema? So I said, are they called Abashema?
When you say that, you may be abusing some people.
That is what they told me. But you see, so much about learning a new word. You have to know it by, you know, making rough mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
So I eventually knew.
And for the sake of the viewers, that is Charles Odongtho. Charles Odongtho comes from the other part of Western Uganda, west of the Nile. He's a political analyst, but as you have heard, he has been a talk show host and many other things. Gentlemen,
You should add he's a Westerner.
you're welcome.
He's a Westerner.
Yes, yes.
But Richard,
and also by association.
can I also take the opportunity?
Yeah, so I wanted to request you to say hello to the viewers.
Hello to the viewers. Happy New Year. And it's good to be back after the elections and in the new year, and that we are all fine. But most importantly, can I use your time, airtime, without paying for it, to congratulate my dear brother Rugyendo?
Of course.
Arinaitwe.
Of course.
Deu gracias.
Of course.
Otim. So that is it. Yes. Because he has just done what I know for a fact. I have discussed with Richard that it's important we add value to our heads by going to do a PhD. But Richard has said, no, thank you. I have refused. I fear that thing.
You need to.
And I thought that it is something that we should be taking on. But Rugyendo did when I was seeing, and he started jokingly, and he made some sacrifices, and here he is now a doctor last week, and he's successful. So I want to congratulate you, my brother, very sincerely, and I'm so happy for you, and you know. Now you
as
are
well. Challenged.
Yes, I'm challenged. I have done already 2-3 topics. I don't know when it will start. But,
That's very good.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I am here to give you the support.
Keep up.
And,
Wow. This is interesting. You have two supporters.
we will see. We will see.
I've been to his home in Parombo.
Yes.
And I usually joke about his home because Parombo is just like a few meters away from the Congo border. So I usually joke about his house. His house, the sitting room is in Congo and the bedroom is in Uganda. This is a man who sleeps. He sleeps in Uganda and eats his lunch and dinner. When he has gone to see his mother and everyone there, he just sits, eats in Congo.
Very, very interesting. You're very welcome, gentlemen. And
Thank you.
you see, among other things, Rugyendo, I also must say that, and we're not going to talk about this now, but I like your work with the young children.
Yes.
The robotics and all the work.
Yes, indeed.
Under your young engineers, Uganda. It's something we will probably have time and talk about.
Yes.
But I think it's great work.
I could even bring the children here.
Yeah, that we need to see how we guide our children. But
Yes.
for this evening, dear viewers, we are going to talk about, are there any implications by having another group of opposition people going to President Yoweri Museveni. We have had a lineup of them going. One of the things that happens is they get work, relatively good work, for many of them who cross. These ones haven't crossed. They have said, and I was with one on air yesterday, the Honorable Latif, and I was asking him, why did you go? And they say, oh, well, where the country is, we need to talk. We need to dialogue. We need to, there's so much that has happened that the country will implode if we don't talk. But I will start with you, Charles Odongtho. We, from my perspective, I mean, we have had, I don't even want to mention them, it's a long list. But everyone who has gone to President Yoweri Museveni to bring national dialogue has been co-opted, literally. Yeah, so it's not national dialogue, it's national co-option, you can say. One of my very good colleagues, whom Moses Garuhanga calls the leader of opposition outside parliament, and you know him, Godbert Mushabe, has been involved in trying to construct some of these things when groups want to go. And you know, nothing really has come out. Is it time? Now that the implications are that we are going to see national dialogue, or we are going to see again a group of people who will get jobs and some cash to go and mobilize, and that will be the end.
Thank you, Richard, and thanks to my colleagues. And my own view is that at all times dialogue must never be thrown out of the way. And for me, I hope that us participating actively through our sharing our views, and those of you, the other side, who are participating by listening and maybe sending in feedback, recognize that if there is any one thing we have to agree on as far as public management of public affairs is concerned, it is that we must always dialogue. I forget the philosopher who said that, you know, I think something to the effect that life begins to, I think, get hard or something once we fail to dialogue. Democracy runs into turmoil, and then we tend to we begin to tinker towards violence. History is, whether recent or you know, long time history, is awash with successes made after dialogue. You know, our neighbors in Kenya here, the recent dialogue or mediation in Congo to address the impasse, never mind so much where they did it from in the US. We know the late Kofi Annan efforts in Kenya to bring back peace. From Burundi, Rwanda, you know. Of course, we also had ours that failed, you know, pre-1986, you know, which people used to call peace jokes and all that. For me, I blanket every opposition ruling party discussion as part of dialogue. That's how I look at it. Now, when you come to the recent visits, which has created intense debate locally here, of the opposition leaders, namely Professor Nsivambi, Council Nsivambi, and the Sevagalas, Latifs, and all the rest, et al. You know, I look at their visit to the president as part of that dialogue. Again, you can discuss what the magnitude is, how feasible it is. But for me, the principle is what I want to pick from. That principle of let's continue talking, because if we cannot talk, then violence is the only option or the only alternative. Now, having done that, the question you raise, the direct question you raise for me to answer is there an implication from that kind of meeting or from such a dialogue with President Museveni? Yes, I think there are so many, not just one. I think there are so many, and we can only unpack a few, but and we leave others to make sense of the many others. One of them is that, you know, now we come to now judge what is the goodwill. You understand? And your question sort of tried to touch on the negative part, that isn't this going to only end in President Museveni's victory? I tend to look at it from the other side, the positive side, that whether or not it ends in the victory of President Museveni, to say that I have won over the opposition, the Maos are with me, maybe some people say the FDC, you know, the FDC faction of Nandala and Amuriata with me, now also, you know, some new people and some FDC people are with me. For me, I think that is a detail that can be discussed in terms of the quality of discussion that you know, some of these opposition figures and the president are having. But there are many people, I think, who have met and dined with President Museveni, and there is evidence for it. Name people like General Mugisha Muntu, who I think, up to now, I think is one of the most credible and trustworthy, you know, viable opposition-leaning personalities, in my view. That's my take. Now, he is not necessarily with President Museveni on the feasting table or on the dining table, but he has met him. You understand? And he believes that dialogue should be given an opportunity. Now, so yes, it can fracture opposition, depending on how we look at it. It can fracture the opposition. Why? Because I think that inherently our opposition is weaker and they don't have such a strong bargaining power, that because of stereotypes, too many rumors, and the lack of goodwill. And also, I also think that many times the lack of unity within the opposition ranks. If we go into that, we shall even unpack so many other things. We have seen how a smaller guy, this Kasivante, decided to go to court, not followed by anybody else. Those kind of weaknesses have made the opposition weaker, further weaker, to the extent that they cannot put a collaborative or cooperative, or a coordinated force strong enough to say, let's engage President Museveni post-election 2031, post-election 2026, post-election even 2021, maybe through the church, maybe through the mediation of the cultural institutions or cultural leaders or any other trusted regional leaders or even global leaders, so that we meet and discuss the real tangible, and we come up with a formidable resolution that satisfies the country. But for me, that is where the problem is. Otherwise, as a principle, dialogue, meeting the president should not be a sin. It should be something that we should encourage. And for me, I stand by that in principle, whether it is in hiding, or I'm talking to myself, or in a public space like this. I think we should encourage that kind of, cooperation.
Thank you, Charles Odongtho.
For the sake of the country.
So you see, there is this side which advances a moral argument. And so for this, it is good to talk. It is, yes. I don't think anyone says it is bad to talk. But Daniel, we have seen opposition people go to talk to your chairman. And every time they come out, they have something in their mouth. And the talking dies after these meetings. So, and your chairman promised us that there will be no opposition post this election. So, are we seeing the decimation of the opposition? This is it.
Comrade Baguma, thank you so much. You started it off by commenting about the color of my shirt, and that took me back to the kind of politics which NRM came to dismantle. Politics of identification by the color of clothes you put on. Of course, I know from your point of view, you know better than that.
So
and
sure, the yellow is not associated with NRM. Can anyone say that in any public space?
But for me, in a public space, I can say yellow was originally known as the color of the Vatican.
I love your choice of words.
Red? Red is red is being associated with the NUP, when in actual sense we know that UPC's color is red. When
but
I was at the
even
university,
before UPC, it is martyrdom.
If I may give you this information, I remember the late Professor Arinaitwe Rugyendo. He found me at around the School of Education, in between arts and School of Education, and he just said, "I love this." I had a red shirt. Anyhow, the point I'm trying to make is
that one. That is what I'm looking for.
The point I'm trying to make is that probably I will give my my brother Dr Rugyendo, I don't know who is older. Anyway, since it is a week, not a weekend, usually I'm old on a weekend, so he will be my elder here. I will give him the opportunity, since he's fresh into this PhD thing, to historicize this issue of the workings of political parties, in especially in this adopted, inherited democracy, political party democracy on the African continent. It is a serious issue.
No,
and we need to
get... Because you usually cleverly change my topics and bring yours. Now you're going to take me in Pan-Africanism, how we were colonized.
That's why I'm avoiding.
I'm looking at the future.
I'm avoiding that. But you see, everything, by the way, everything that we discuss in life, if you do not give it a historical context, if you don't contextualize it historically, if you do not historicize a problem, an issue, you get a problem. Because the problem you get...
Mr. Rugarama, give me a minute.
Yes.
Is that everyone who has gone to discuss with President Yoweri Museveni has been swallowed. I am asking that please don't divert me.
I am coming to that.
Are you destroying the opposition now?
Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, our chairman and the president, outgoing and elect, said that. And I want to believe, and correctly so, that the sense in which he said it was not to mean that he is literally going to obliterate the opposition. No. The history of Uganda is such that we probably started, especially with the regaining of independence, in multi-party dispensation. Probably. That's the rationale behind. And somehow we know how the political parties, UPC, DP, ETC, CP, how they behaved. Now, because of the nature of political of democracy that was being exhibited, the discrimination on the account of gender, discrimination on account of religion, etc. When NRM came into power, they thought they would do better by bringing everybody on board in that omnibus thing called individual merit and movement. Therefore, Later, when there was external pressure, usually prevent me from bringing that, and yet it is a fact.
Please link it.
When there was pressure from the so-called epitomes of democracy, these ones who give us some
The Bretton Woods.
money here and there, that we are not democratic enough, we need to allow, quote unquote, the political space.
Pluralism.
And therefore the political space meant going multi-party. I remember the statement of the president, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, saying that katubejjeko. Therefore, the spirit under which the political party or multi-party dispensation came back into the politics of Uganda was not out of really what one would call consensus. It was like, let's get back there because some people who matter to us in one way or another are really interested in this kind of thing. Yes, later, after the reintroduction of multi-party politics in Uganda, because we are not so much open and interested in a manner of speaking, there hasn't been a level playing ground. To the extent that other political parties, not necessarily NRM, have continuously complained, and it was also contained in the election petition, the guidance that was given by the Supreme Court, that you go, among the things you should reform in the proposed electoral reforms is that you create an even playground. That is for political parties, which hasn't, I think, greatly really happened, although there are some attempts to get there, but it is always a process. It is always a process, and I believe maybe going forward, things are going to improve. That, therefore, creates an atmosphere where recently we saw our colleagues like Senior Counsel Yusuf Nsabambe, and I thank him very much because he was my teacher at School of Law, Sale of Goods, one of the papers he taught. I know him as an extremely sober man, even during the time he was practicing, with colleagues like Moses Kabusu, Honorable Latif Sebagara, when they moved not as political parties, but as individuals, they have been construed in the spaces, these media spaces where we are debating this issue. They have been construed as another team of politically frustrated people who are probably looking for a fallback position. In my opinion, and I want to conclude with this, in my opinion, I think if we must engender the debate about deepening democracy and pushing our country forward, we must not close certain doors. I propose, therefore, and I would want to thank the Nsabambi and his colleagues, including those who never appeared in the picture, that this is not so, may be a little bit different because it didn't come in the form of political parties and what have you. But if you look at the history of NRM, Maria Mutagamba, in one way or another, must have talked to the late Maria Mutagamba, must have talked to the president before she joined the government. Paul Kawanga Semwogerere, around that time, must have talked to the president, and he joined the government. They combined hands, they pushed this country forward. The Norbert Mao, Sebana Chizido, Norbert Mao came with the DP. They went into an agreement, and I believe it is moving forward. One of the writers, so when we were still doing,
you were concluding.
Yes, and I'm still concluding, said that you sometimes don't have to ride into the storm in order to achieve what you want. The maturity of a politician is his ability to talk amidst very difficult circumstances.
So this is what these guys have done.
Absolutely.
Okay, Arinaitwe Rugyendo.
Yes.
I'm going to paraphrase somebody, that it is not particularly clever. I'm being charitable in my choice of words. That it's not particularly clever to do something the same way and expect different results. Whoever has gone, and they have mentioned, these two gentlemen have mentioned many names and they have left out many more. Whoever has gone has been co-opted. So, isn't this not particularly clever to expect anything new?
I think for me, the way I look at it is that this is nothing new. It has happened. If you look at the history of the NRM particularly, from the time of the Bush War, the NRM has been co-opting. If you want me to historicize, they look at the other fighting groups. Let's first start actually from the military front. The West Nile Bank Front, RRA.
Even from the bush, Vumbura, I don't know.
ADF, the Kaira group, the UNLA.
What was that conference where it took place? It's Chichusa or something? There was that conference between the Kaira group.
Chichusa.
You know? Then, of course, the 1985 talks. But also, importantly, immediately after 1986, there's so many rebel groups that were co-opted. Most of the members that were you know, that belong to those groups are very active in NRM. Some are ministers, some are actually have become permanent ministers, others are RDCs, several others became public servants. Permanent ministers. Yes. Some have become, some are also permanent public servants. That is the situation, that's the unique political evolution that Uganda has become over time and space. And I don't see really something strange here, except that it just reminds me of what late Archbishop Desmond Tutu told me personally in 2012 when I interviewed him. I interviewed him and he said, I was asking him about this, you know, the African condition and why leaders don't want to leave power or why countries are always in conflicts. And he was like, you see, politics is like a knife, a sharp knife. You can use it to slaughter a goat and you distribute meat to everybody and everybody will eat and become very happy. But you can also use it to shed blood, to kill. So politics is like that. So it requires then those who I would call voices of reason when there are conflicts, when sides are not able to sit and talk and chart a way forward, that then they occupy the middle ground to ensure that politics now serves the common good. And I think this is how I want to interpret it. Yes, the opposition members that have met him, may not represent certain tendencies that we know, certain shades of opinion that we know, but it is a move in that direction that the country needs to hear, the country needs to discuss, the country needs to talk, because one, we adopted the multi-party system from a Western context and just transplanted it here. We transplanted it here in a context where dialogue is actually the norm. If you go to Rwanda, you hear of meetings like Mushikirano. Here we had Ishazi. I don't know what they call it in West Nile and other places. You know, we have always talked as Africans. We have always avoided conflict as Africans, and we don't even look at conflict as a means to annihilate ourselves, but to just to have an argument. But so the essence of Western democracy, which is represented in form of multipartyism, was politics of interests. That our interests as a class, as maybe as teachers, is a proper education, maybe proper salaries. As workers, we want better working conditions. That's how political parties develop. But how do they develop here in Uganda? You don't have those kinds of conditions. So because we copy the system, so we believe that parties are a means to an end, are a means to serve our individual interests. And that's the reason why you talk of co-option, because the whole purpose, the entire purpose of the motivation of any sitting government is not to lose power. It's not to help you take them out of power. It is to co-opt you. It is to make sure that their line stays. That it is to ensure that they maintain power and keep it, not to lose it. But the motivation of the opposition is to grab that power from the state. And so I don't see anything new here, except that we have moved now to a better direction. Why? Because our structure of politics is a winner takes it all. And that kind of thing paralyzes the country. It paralyzes the country. And it's really dangerous. Because you cannot say just that because majority have overwhelmed the minority and therefore the minority do not exist.
Have no voice.
Doesn't mean democracy doesn't mean that the minority have no right to exist. They must
So this is the loser minority coming to the table.
So they must, because if they realize that it is important to not to polarize ourselves, but to have a discussion. Because this country, even if you talked to even the other official opposition, the other structures, at the end of the day, the point has been that how can we have a dialogue as a country? How can we have a dialogue? There is, of course, the iPod arrangement, which I'm sure you're aware about. Probably participated
This is what I'm saying.
Yes, but
This is what I was asking you when I started asking you, Dr. Rugyendo.
But you see,
You talk about the dialogue, I don't know, situation room. These things have been co-option points. What is new? What is the implication of it? Is there anything?
Okay, I was coming to that, the implication.
Yes.
The implication is simple, that the NRM will continue to fragment the opposition because it serves it better. A fragmented opposition gives the NRM a chance to grab the noisy ones and co-opt them. We had them. One of them is a speaker, another one is a deputy speaker.
That's not criminal at all.
And so co-option is a political strategy, in my view. And so
advanced political strategy.
The only challenge here I see is whether they are representative of the official opposition.
And that's the question I wanted to take to Odongtho before we go to the break.
And that alone, yes, as I conclude, and that alone is the question that we need to see answered within this process. Because they've talking, for example, I've heard that when they met, they were talking about the release of political prisoners.
Somebody even took a
dialogue.
I think yesterday.
These are some of the concerns that the opposition
reforms.
has. But electoral reforms, these are some of the clear conditions. Sometimes it may take that direction to be able to achieve some of these things. Since the iPod arrangement has not achieved them, and the other important thing to look at, by the way, is that where does the opposition and also the NRM differ in terms of policy? What is the problem? Where does the opposition have a policy problem with the NRM?
No,
for example,
the
do they say UP is bad?
The problem is not policy.
Yes.
The problem is practice.
Yes.
The problem is practice. And you have just mentioned it. Why would somebody go to talk about imprisoned people if there was no problem?
Yes.
It means there is a problem.
Definitely
so
there
the
is.
problem is practice. So whether the problem is policy or not, the problem exists. And you've raised an important matter that I wanted to take to Charles Odongtho. You see, Charles, so these people whom you are all praising, so they represent who? And what is the agenda?
Actually, we're not praising them. Are we praising them?
We are simply pointing out historical facts.
He said, I want even to thank them very much.
No, the point is that as Ugandans and even the opposition themselves, we've forgotten that that's how the NRM has been
behaving. So they represent who? And what is the agenda?
You see, if I asked you here, who do I represent, Richard? On this TV, who do I represent? You called me.
Your constituency is not easily defined.
What does doctor represent? Who?
Therefore.
Who does Arinaitwe represent?
Therefore.
Are they not Ugandans in their own right?
Therefore.
With the capacity to discuss, to negotiate, to give their thoughts on the best way forward for Uganda and share? Isn't that why we all exist? Now, there is something And Rugyendo said,
Who gave them the mandate?
No, but they
but
represent
Charles,
certain shades of
Charles, wait a minute, Charles.
Yes.
This is information.
Yes.
There is such a thing as political, socio-economic influencers. They do not necessarily hold
elective
positions,
but
their
opinion
voices,
leaders.
their opinions are extremely welcome and respected across the board.
That's
what we are saying.
These ones, all of them, the people told them at the ballot box. So what are you talking? Influence? All of them were told at the ballot box. Please.
That's a different thing.
What is different? So they prevented their constituencies, all of them rejected. So they are representing who?
At the end of it,
Yes.
even the guys who go to the house, the elected leaders, MPs, when they are speaking, they speak from a position of their personal knowledge. The only claim they can have bigger than yours and mine is that they went through the ballot. But I might have a better view than them. It doesn't mean that the MP you are seeing in that house has a more superior knowledge and opinion and view, well researched and all that. On the contrary, many of us are actually, we have better ideas that can develop. So the thing is,
diverted me again.
No, I haven't diverted you.
Who? I'm not talking about their ideas.
I have already said.
Dr. Jen has many ideas.
I have already disabused you of that thinking that it must be who you represent. That must be the most important.
Silent majority.
The issue is not even silent majority. The issue is, do you have an idea that can be used to develop, transform a society, can be used to transform a nation? And I believe that Council Nsibambi has a lot of it.
Who resounding the roast?
I believe the Sebagala Latif that I know has a lot of ideas that the president wanted to listen to, and he did listen to them. And you bring it back to, we were having this discussion, I don't know whether we had it here or somewhere else, when some people were arrested and Mao went and pleaded for them or made sure that he spoke for them. Eventually some were released. I said, this is good. Imagine what the family or the parents of these people who have been jailed want. Do they want UPC, DP, NUP, NRM to go and negotiate and bring out their sons, their daughters? Or what they want is to have their sons and brothers and children and daughters and sisters back home, and they can talk with them, they can hug each other, they can share with them when they are from home. It is the latter.
So they are
and therefore for me,
our pawns on our chess game.
You want to call them pawns? Maybe bishops or knights. You know they are bishops and knights in the chess game. So when you talk about pawns, I can say, no, they are not necessarily just pawns, which are the most little on the board. They might actually be bishops that play roles which are very strategic from a corner, but aimed at achieving a bigger goal. So for me, Richard, I know that in a democratic situation, in a representative democracy that ours is, where we only want to respect those who have been elected, I think we need to disabuse ourselves of that thinking and put away the hubris. Because for me, I look at that as the hubris of those who have gone, because not all of us want to go into that dirty, turbulent, politics of campaign, take alcohol in order to be loved, go to every funeral, make sure you have put 10,000, even if you don't have it, in a basket during a funeral, and make sure that people see you. What you are doing is posturing, so that then they will vote for you, and then you say, now I have the mandate, and it is only me with the mandate. I think if we are, that's why in advanced countries, we have entities and organizations like think tanks, whose voices are actually, we have lobbyists, you understand. They are more powerful in terms of nurturing a certain culture. And for me, if you ask me, I am more interested in Uganda building and sustaining or establishing a culture of, you know, let's talk, reaching out, however bitter it is.
Yeah, so this has been happening. You wanted to say?
Yes, I wanted to add something there. I think we are running a danger of foregrounding the idea that because I have lost a constituency or I lost an election, therefore I've ceased being an opposition leader or I've ceased being an NRM cadre. I think my ideas have shifted. I think that's not the case. Even in Western democracies, when somebody has been vanquished, they always congratulate the winner. It doesn't mean that they believe in what the winner says.
These ones also had removed transformers for the community.
Yes, that is practice. That is political practice.
That's a detail.
Which is different from the ideological engagement that they've had with the
And
president.
that's what I'm telling you.
And
because
me,
you are raising an ideological issue.
Yes.
I'm saying these guys are not ideological.
I think for me, I really don't want to believe that they are not ideological. For me, the point here is that they know that the NRM won or the president won with 71%, but that doesn't mean that that's the majority of the country. It means it is majority of those who turned up to vote. You get
Who were few.
So who are very, very few. And in that case, there is a huge...
And it is a minority, therefore.
There is a huge group of Ugandans that did not turn up to vote, and there are reasons for that. Probably logistical, probably poor civic education, and many others. Maybe just because probably they are fatigued or they have lost faith in the electoral system. And these become very serious issues for any serious government that wants cohesion across the country. And that means that if the NLM wants to build cohesion, wants to make sure that everybody is on board, then you've got to speak to individuals. You're not going to come and speak to buildings in Kavule, where Luke sits and other places. It is these individuals, whether they have vanquished or not, it's these individuals who mean something. And remember, some of these individuals, by the way, that we are talking about, these are people who came with a NUP wave in the last election. And
they were FDC.
And stopped the entire Uganda.
They were FDC.
And through NRM.
So when the wave came, they went.
But this time,
now that the wave has sunk them, they have gone yellow or they are about to go.
No, this time, the reason actually it was not that the wave has sunk them. No, this time around, NRM was more prepared. And they organized
but they were beaten by opposition.
Yes, some of them.
They were not beaten by yellow guys.
Some of them, yes. But you realize in Uganda, NRM gained
no problem.
And that means a lot. It means a lot in terms of NRM reaching out to co-opt some of these people. Because if you don't co-opt them, then you may not understand the issues that are affecting one section of the country.
We are going for a break.
Which is
and when we come back, this understanding that you are talking about, we are going to probe it a little bit more.
Can my comment wait after the break?
We are going to have an opportunity to probe this, because I'm coming to you, Rugarama.
Accountability define our future. In a
Very welcome. Thank you so much from that break. We are very happy to still be with you. Baguma Richard, I'm hosting the Bottom Line on Family TV, and we really thank you for being with us. And we are talking about the implications of the opposition members of parliament who recently had a meeting with President Yoweri Museveni, and they say this was about dialogue and the de-escalation of tensions, and talking about the future of this country in a discussed, organized, and calm way. A lot of people have welcomed this, and a lot also have looked at it suspiciously. Several of them have commented that nothing new. This has happened after every conflict that has been. Some look at the election time that has been very conflictuous, with hundreds, others saying thousands still in detention, and the leader of the largest group party on the run with his home besieged, under siege. So they say this situation is unprecedented. It's not good. We need to go. And the person who really has the strongest strings to pull, of course, is the president who has been elected again. And this has been the reasoning. I have Dr Arinaitwe Rugyendo, Dr Daniel Rugarama, and Charles Odongtho to have have a discussion around what are the implications. Rugarama, was coming to you. And I would like you to talk about this. I know you have many ideas to talk about, but I would like
I will accept the guidance.
I would like to guide this.
Yes.
Who are these guys representing? Who sets the agenda of this? What is the agenda?
Okay. Now, I would want to conventionally, to answer your question, there is no known constituency of the comrades we have seen meeting the president. At least, as of now, I don't think they went there as representatives of the political parties from where they come from.
The parties have come out clear and said
absolutely.
No.
And even them, they didn't claim that they were representing the political parties. So I think that is settled now, if we raised it as an issue. Two, I don't think they went there for those who are still having constituencies in the capacity that they are representing their constituencies. There is a bigger question, in my opinion, and I have had my teacher, Yusuf Nsibambe, several times from when he came from the State House, say this, that they are bigger and more important questions, and he tried to break them down. He was like, look, we have always asked for a national dialogue. In his opinion, he says we even misjudged Norbert Mao. He says for us, ours is to support the efforts of those that have gone there before us. Then two, he says that there has always been need to have the question of the youth who are languishing in prisons for many years. They have been there, and somehow this issue has not been brought forward to the president as in the magnitude as it is supposed to be. So he said that part of what he whispered to the president, and this is not being the first time, and he is prepared to repeat it, is the issue of the many youth who are in the politics, the multi-party politics, and have been in one way or another lured into some of these crimes or political mischief, if they can come back and be rehabilitated. And three, he talks about the common good of the country. He says this country belongs to all of us. For me and my colleagues who have gone to the president, and it's not the first time that I have gone there, I am interested, and so are my colleagues, in seeing that we develop this country together. Not that this country belongs to those who have won, and I think my brother Dr. Rugyendo talked about it, that we cannot have, the winners are the takers of everything, and then the losers have got to wait for the 5 years, And if they are beaten again, then they have got nothing to contribute to this country. Therefore, against that background, Comrade Baguma, I think that Yusuf Nsabambe, we nicknamed him Musomesa, Yusuf Nsabambe and his colleagues, I think they have already scored. Why do I say so? That if we agree that these are people without constituencies, be it political parties or otherwise, these are people who are actually not maybe having a serious voice because they have been beaten at the ballot barely 3 weeks ago. How come that every media house is now talking about the meeting of Yusuf Nsabambe-led team with the president of the country? In my opinion, I think this that they have done is something that is not supposed to be a one-off. There is supposed to be continuous engagements between perceived and real enemies, even in a home. The moment you begin cut off communication between a husband and a wife, or even children, you know you're going to lose that home. We take Uganda as our home. We may not necessarily share the same views. By the way, let me even make it worse. Even in NRM, there are those we disagree with, and sometimes very seriously. Why do I say so? Not on petty issues, no, on ideological issues, you disagree. But somehow, you find it within yourselves, and that's the maturity I was talking about, to talk. When you are lucky, by God's grace, you find that you continue and build a party, and you make a government and run a country. My other thought that runs in my mind is that the timing. When you look at the timing, simply because these people have just lost elections, majority of them, because we don't know everybody who went there, majority of those we have seen, we perceive them as political failures. There is a misconception, and this is so much Ugandan, that they are looking for jobs. They have fallen on hard times. Politics in Uganda, elections in Uganda are very expensive. That, I agree. They have used a lot of money. They want themselves to bail them out. Probably. Some go there with such ideas. And that is why you find that Musomesa, senior counsel, Yusuf Nsabambe, was saying that for me, I started working a long time ago. I was at 26, the attorney of the late Muammar Gaddafi. And I had a lot of money which I brought in boxes. And
Greenland is the one who started.
He does not.
Greenland Bank.
Yes, absolutely.
He's the one actually who started as the lawyer.
Nsabambe, the little I know about him is that, of course, he's not an angel. He's a human being. But you rarely find him telling lies. And I think one of the things that chased him from practice, actual practice, legal practice, was the lies that were being peddled against. He said, no, I cannot work with some of these people. Therefore, in a manner of speaking, I think, save for the timing, that, and the people we have seen who are considered to have lost politically, and because the politics in Uganda highly polarized, this belief that everybody that goes to Museveni is looking for a job, the conversation that Nsabambe and colleagues are saying, because they are not claiming to be starting it, they appreciate the fact that other people have gone there. Norbert Mao, they talked about him. I want to believe that by them adding their voices on probably other people who went there before them, although we have got structured bodies like IPOD, we talked about it here, and others, I want to believe is the kind of engagements we must encourage and continue to have, because we are not going to have everybody as the president of this country. We are not going to have everybody as a minister in whatever cabinet that is forming government. We can have different voices being listened to, and in fact I would encourage that the next meeting they are having, let the numbers even increase.
And that's where Dr. Rugyendo, now somebody actually sent me a message here, said I should ask you
Oh, yes.
that if you were advising this group that went, despite whatever method they used or criteria
Yes.
to select each other, if you were advising them who should be on the table, what should they be saying and doing?
Well, in my view, frankly, you mean who in the group, or basically who should be?
Yeah, who
in
should
this
be? I
process?
mean, yeah, because it means that would be
For me, this group approaching the president is a very good chance for the country to now launch itself into a dialogue mood. It is very important because we're a polarized country over so many things, and so who should be in such a situation? I mean, in such a structured arrangement. I think the former opposition should really be on the table. I would like to see General Mood there. I would like to see Bobby Wine there. I would like to see these are the leaders, the ones that have participated. Well, if it were a security discussion, probably would know better why he's on the run. But he has a
But you'd like
General.
to see him there.
Yes, he has a Secretary General. He has because all these issues. We expect that every political party has issues to bring on board. Civil society have issues to bring on board. We in the media have actually very serious issues, by the way. We never have any serious dialogue with the state. But we have also very serious issues to bring on board. They call us enemies, they call us so many things, agents of foreign, rumor mongers, agents of foreign, I don't know, whatever interests.
You are the fourth estate.
Yes, it was supposed to check them. But because we check them, then we become enemies. It is sometimes very derogatory, but you can't you can't engage in that exchange. But the point that I want to make is that there are very many centers in this country that we must engage in a dialogue with the state. It's not just about the 71% alone. For me, I feel that there are very good voices of reason that I want to see on table. And Yusuf Uriare is one of them, in my view, because I've had very many law students talk about him. I've never met him. I've never interacted with him. But they speak good things about him as a civil person, as somebody who can articulate issues really with the state. And so for me, if they have started that engagement, we saw the one of Mao before, we've seen so many others, but that engagement should result into that formal discussion that we want to see in this country take place. It has happened in different countries, but even here in Kenya, they had to go into a dialogue because at one point, Kenya was on the brink of
serious civil war.
Serious civil war until a moment. Sometimes you reach that jinx. You reach that what you call critical juncture in a political process, and realize that whatever we do, whether it's just no longer about military might, it's even no longer about majority win. It's about the common things that bring us together as a country. For example, corruption. Corruption, whether you are NRM or NUP, affects you because and sometimes I laugh at some of these looters in the state who focus on looting everything, and then later on they realize when that the road that they have looted has potholes, and they also get accidents like some of us, and then end up in a poor hospital that has no medicine. So you realize that it all affects all of us ultimately. And so these are some of the things. Where are those minimum parameters that we can agree upon all of us as a country? And this is the sort of dialogue I want to see emerge out of this informal arrangement. I know that what is happening is not the formal state. It is the deep state working. We were asking that question earlier on. That where was the agenda? Who invited who? I think it was my brother here, Charles Odongtho. Was asking who called what? No, that's not how the deep state works. The deep state is in motion, and you can see it properly. Maybe people didn't want to come and
actually the deep state, Dr. Rugyendo, influences the foreign policy of the so-called developed economies.
This is how things work. So even at home, I'm sure you have the deep family and then the formal family in terms of how you run your home. So
I don't know.
Yes.
Which ambassador managed our impasse with Rwanda cross of the border?
So to answer his question, I think for me, before we say who should sit on that table, I think I want to see Yusuf Nsumambi really emerge out with his group, emerge out of this process by forcing a serious national dialogue. Because if Museveni can listen to you, maybe it means he has something to bring on the table, and I think that's why everybody is talking about it. Because if there was nothing to talk about, then we would be dismissing them.
If it was that inconsequential.
Yes. So I think there is some consequence here, and I think there's some impact here. And for me, this is a moment when, as a country, we should begin talking. Maybe we should, because the president is aging. We should accept that, and we also accept that the state is really the former state is in a state of dysfunction in terms of how certain things are supposed to work. And everybody, you have seen, many even inside NRM people have talked about the things that yes, we have won, we have 71%, but how do we speak about the state of roads? How do we speak about this city, for example, where somebody spends 4 hours to travel a 10-kilometer journey? What kind of productivity is that? What kind of economy are we building? That we cannot sit down to understand that we need a functional city, we need functional services, our schools must work, our hospitals must work. These are things that can't go away just because you have won an election. You get it? So, so these are issues that need dialogue. These are issues when civil society activists question and they end up in prison. Journalists raise these things, report corruption, report about the excesses of the state, and they are taken as enemies. You can't build a country like that, in my view. It's impossible. So therefore, the process should lead to a proper discussion, and then we have representatives in our society, in our different strata, to lead the dialogue, because we have them in the media, in the religious communities, even at the level of the civil society, and also political. Because it's not about NRM and political parties and this is how the country runs. No, even we football people run this country in their own way. Even borders run this country in their own way. Where are these dialogues taking place?
No, you are presenting your budgets outside the ministry, you football people. But anyway, you run the country. It's agreed. But you see, Charles,
Yes.
these voices and you see, we are saying, if it was not consequential, it wouldn't. No one says it's not consequential. The voices are different from what you are. The voices which are different. The voices which are different from you guys are saying what we would like to achieve is not achieved this way. This road has been taken before. Many times. You have cited many examples. This road has not taken this country to where you guys are talking about. So one, there is no precedent or therefore to build the confidence or to build on. Two, the individuals who are there do not have constituencies to represent. So what influence do they have to bring constituencies on board? Three, there is no structured agenda that is going to be discussed that then would say is representative of the country. Four, these are people who have been through bruising elections. And many times, people have gone to restore and rejuvenate and revive themselves. So Charles Odongtho, tell me, so why should anybody have hope in this?
I absolutely agree with the demand and the continuous, that appetite to see that there is a structured debate, including having a timetable, including having an agenda, of what is being discussed. That I agree too. But I think that first of all, from a point of view that this country is really, really fractured, I think for me these are the moments that we see the evidence of how much fractured we are, that we cannot even agree on the most basic and to start, to take off. But for me, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not the most right, I don't have the most right opinion on this.
And it is fine to be wrong.
Yes, it is okay. It's not criminal. The thing is that for me, I would love to see, if we were positive-minded as politicians, as opposition leaders, now that Nsibambi went, Council Nsibambi, Latif Sevagala, and the others went, Honorable Kavusu and the rest, they went and met the president, and they came out and have shared with us, with the nation, what they shared with the president. I would have loved positive-oriented or positive-focused other opposition people, including those who have won elections, to now say, gentlemen, ladies, thank you that you went there. You were bold, more bold than us. In fact, you are bold, even evidenced by the fact that even those that accompanied you, many of them refused to just take pictures with the president to be seen discussing with him. Therefore, can you share with us? Can you share with us what was it that you discussed that we can formalize and structure? From your reading, Nsibambi, you are a teacher, so you probably can read a listener's body language. Did you think the president is serious about releasing these people that we have been looking for? For me, that is the type of discussion, the kind of effort I would want to see. I would have loved to see even religious leaders calling Council Nsibambi, calling these gentlemen and ladies who went to meet President Museveni. That, you see, we have been looking for an entry point to this. Now that the country is abuzz with all this that you have done, albeit you did it on your own, can we make it a national issue? And post-election, before even the swearing in, can we organize a bigger discussion of the opposition or whoever they are? For me, that is the kind of thing I'm seeing. Alas, we have only actors who want to say, the president has said, we arrested 25 people, for example, who were misled into certain actions, and then an opposition that will say, we demand in the strongest terms, maybe through social media or at a presser. They also, now, that kind of adversarial approach, antagonistic, that power versus power, we are powerful because we are called opposition. We are the rulers because we are called NRM. That is what is, for me, a big problem for this country. And I think it will not take us anywhere, because we shall all be losers at the end of it all. So, for me, I think there is need to really break the ice. And there is even no better time than this, because if you look at President Museveni, even biologically, I mean, President Museveni jokes about my relatives. My uncle died at 102. My relatives didn't stay for long. But you see, 82 plus another term, we are now talking about a weaker human being, okay? Generally speaking, ideally speaking. And so we should start taking advantage of such moments. Maybe it is because of his age that now he feels that even when I have won, and there are people that I should reach out to. It has never happened before. Sebagala Latif was initially, has never changed actually, apart from the fact that he lost an election. He has been, and the other day I saw, I think someone tweeting what he was saying either on TV or somewhere on NBS or somewhere, where he was saying, I have since 96 fought through the opposition and I have not changed. He's saying that, meaning that if we have to respect him. He has just talked about Council Nsibambi. For me, he is rated as, if we were to rate out of over 40 lecturers that I went through for 4 years at Makerere University Law School, we call it the school, he is among the best 3, considered by all the students in terms of integrity, in terms of fairness, in terms of in terms of his passion for justice and truth, and he doesn't mince words. He speaks his mind. Now, are we going to say that just because he met the president that you disagree with, throw him on the dustbin with all his ideas? For me, I think that is where we have a problem. And if we cannot sort out that basic beginning point, then we cannot go forward.
Daniel, I mean, the people who have not present you in Museveni, you have outlined them, are very brilliant. Yes. They are brilliant people, Museveni type, and they have been co-opted. Probably being co-opted, you are going to tell me legalistically it is not criminal. Okay, that we all agree. But then you don't get any dialogue. You get absorbed. So if you were advising your chairman, our president, that this time it should indeed be dialogue away from co-option, what would you be telling?
One thing I have heard some sections of the public say is that our chairperson is not good at dialogue. Now, with a lot of respect, I disagree. He may not come out as somebody who respects this kind of what we call conventional dialogue, because even when he was emerging from was it Arusha, those talks and what have you, he was reaching here and doing something very different. So his history it does not favor him when it comes to is he somebody really you can talk about as a dialogue. But that's another thing, because again, when you look at some of these other cases that we are pointing out, probably they didn't emerge as a result of dialogue, if you like, because there is the context within which we look at dialogue, and that conventional context it cannot be fitted into our chairperson and the president of this country to describe him as one of the best dialoguers. But he is a maneuverer, and that's what politicians are supposed to do. He's a very good maneuverer, he is a political tactician, and he is a mover of things. He will dig into the opposition political party, he will fish out the very best of them, and he will incorporate them to work with him. And that's okay, absolutely. It is okay politically, it is okay legally, it is also okay. You see, it is fine for people to complain. When you complain that I have recruited the very best from your side into my football team and we are winning, I have got no problem with it. So what is happening, therefore, is that if probably because of the age that Ndugu Odongtho has been talking about, the biology, I can assure you there are many things which the president does even at his advanced age of 82 or 84, whatever you want to call it, which very many
young people
much below him don't do. That is one. Then too, when it comes to appreciation of these global issues, also governance, he's out of this world. He's absolutely verified.
True.
Now, to me, we are at, it is Dr. Rugyendo who talked about a juncture, political juncture. Now, this political juncture, critical one at
at a
that,
political epoch.
especially in Uganda, is a time when we need every voice. Now, if the voice,
So what
that-
advice are you giving your chairman?
this is what I'm giving him. If the voice is that one from a reputable, legal brain, political actor like senior counsel in Savambi, so much the better. I would encourage that my chairman actually improves and widens the political net such that he can capture many more Savambis and Latif Sevagaras and the Kabusuza, even those ones that ever appeared in the picture. Because that way, our interest as NRM is not simply weaken the opposition. No, it is to strengthen the governance and the development of a country called Uganda.
Dr. Rugyendo. Surely, listening to you guys,
You will accept.
I really don't know what the viewers think of there. Let me tell you why.
Yes.
You see, bringing more people, dialoguing and co-opting more people, very good for the country. Corruption has not reduced. This has been happening. Youth unemployment has not improved.
Yes.
Petty insecurity, banging us on the head to take our telephones. I'm grieving right now. I'm grieving. I lost my
telephone.
very good friend and sister was
Yes,
murdered
yes.
last night. Very close. I even considered not coming. By the way, I didn't feel the energy this evening. I first debated with myself.
Very sorry about that.
These things have not changed. The dropout rate of our children in UPE has not been any better. It has been becoming worse. So when you sit here, gentlemen, PhD guys, and you hear what is going on, oh God.
No, nobody is hearing what is going on.
It's not
have
a-
not,
I think
they have been happening.
thought-
They have not caused the improvements.
No, let me tell you, politics tends to
Frankly,
supersede-
tell me.
Let me tell you, politics tends to supersede every other processes in any given society.
And we keep saying
you need good politics to take decisions, take good decisions. And so tell me, if the politics is not stable, that you will solve the question of school dropouts. How are you going to do it when you are polarized as a country? That to me is very important. And why do we have dysfunctional systems? Because individuals, not political organizations, are the ones to blame, are the ones that have bad behavior. They are the ones who
They are behaving badly now, going alone, not as institutions.
no, you see.
If I take your
You
argument,
see, what are we doing here, for example? Who asked us to come here? You called us.
no, who are you negotiating?
Yes, but the point
Are
is,
you negotiating
I thought-
for?
No, we are giving in our own discussions. We're trying to give a direction to the. We think we're making sense, or we think we are also contributing to the national dialogue.
From your point
to the national
that you have
discussion
just
about
given,
these issues.
these guys should be representing.
No, for us, we don't represent anyone.
Yeah, because you are not negotiating anything.
No, not at
You
all.
are just
but
discussing, yeah.
but to discuss the direction of the country, you really don't need to represent anybody, in my view.
To negotiate?
Really. What are they negotiating?
Yeah, because they are saying they are negotiating a dialogue.
No, I thought they met the president particularly really on about 2 or 3 issues. One being release of these prisoners, because me, I've been a prisoner before, by the way. I've been charged with fusion myself, yeah. And it was not really the formal structures that got me out with my colleagues. it was so many processes, not just a single structure, which is the court system.
So informality is going to deliver us. We should be going one by one.
States work like that, and we're talking about here, what we have all advanced is that all political processes, all processes are important. And
they reinforce each other.
When they reinforce each other.
But which is reinforcing each? The process is everyone is going alone and getting something. So what is reinforced?
Mr. Rugyendo, can I, through a question, can I inform Richard?
Yes,
through a question. You have followed the protracted discussions over the Israel conflict in that region, and then the Ukrainian-Russian conflict, and you have followed the fervent criticism by the opposition currently, the Democrats, against Trump, using a gentleman called Witkoff, who is the major negotiator for peace and a lot of things. Is it criminal? Is it bad for the country and the world if that Witkoff, who is not even the Secretary of State, achieves a major breakthrough? Is it bad for the world?
Two things.
On principle.
No, two things.
Even the other questions.
No, two things. I'm not supposed to be answering your questions. I am the one supposed to be asking questions. And this is the usurpation.
Yeah, I always say,
the usual
in
usurpation.
that seat, I always say, I am the asker.
I am the asker. And this is the usurpation that you want. And so you go and co-opt people and you usurp. This is the practice.
But you have given it the analysis.
But you see, I'm telling you,
political system.
I'm telling you your analysis.
How does a political system survive?
I'm telling you, no, we are not talking about.
But they have told you that is how statecraft works.
We're not talking about co-option. We are talking about, and so you guys are advocating for co-option.
No,
that's national dialogue.
Not at all.
How can that be
not
national
in the
dialogue,
list,
gentlemen?
Not in the list.
Yes.
You see, Comrade Baguma,
Yes.
a rose flower, even after being called by another name, will still smell the same.
And a
We
banana.
don't care.
If you get a banana and call it a rose flower, it will not be.
No, just a minute. We
Yes.
don't care if the proper governance, improvement, socio-economic improvement of this country is going to come as a consequence of co-option. We don't care.
May it be.
Yes. Are we advancing? Is the point.
That's what I'm saying. I'm asking.
And that is the bottom line.
What advancement when corruption is deepening, when the dropout rates are increasing, when the roads are not? So what this corruption has been happening. So what improvement are you talking about, Dr.
The truth of the matter is that there are so many other things which are development indicators which are happening, and we do
As a result of corruption.
and we do not want to forget or even pretend that those things you are pointing out, for instance, Rugyendo here was pointing out bad road network in Kampala here. It's a fact.
He's relatively honest.
But we are also saying, yes, we are also saying that the aggregate road network throughout the country, especially the highways, is greatly improved
Because of corruption.
and yes, because let me tell you, everything begins there. By the way, why do I say so? Yes. The moment you have got a firebrand opposition that is making your planning and execution of your programs, which you gave the country in your manifesto, you are not going to be able to achieve even the little that you are achieving, be it in the health sector, be it in the education sector, or the other sectors. The fact that you are able to neutralize the opposition by co-option, and you bring that brain to help you to execute your manifesto, is a political miracle.
So we should kill any form of accountability and asking questions by co-option. We have one approach, one mindset, and we shall have to do the best.
The institutions which are demanding accountability should go like the IGG's office, like the parliament.
They are demanding accountability.
Yes, which are mandated. constitutionally to demand accountability should go ahead and demand the
It meant
accountability.
that the corruption has reached 10 trillion. They have been there for ages.
Yes.
So what accountability?
Yes.
Yes, Rugyendo.
Yes.
Which one?
No, but you see, if you look at some of the figures, for example, maybe the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, together with working together with these other agencies and the police, there have been convictions, and these convictions don't just come because of politics, but they come because of proper investigations. I'm not really trying to defend.
No, absolutely, you wouldn't.
But the issue is that is the process in place to ensure that proper accountability is
You have read
enabled.
Have you read the Auditor General's
Yes, I
report?
have. I'm reading. I'm still
the most
reading
recent
it.
one.
I'm still reading it. It's a examining report. But that but for me,
These institutions
but
have
for
been
me,
there.
but for me,
And you've been co-opting
But for
people.
me, yes. But you see, that's the point. You see, we co-opted many of them. The system.
See where he's driving us.
What happened? What happened?
No, but you see, we must make ourselves very clear.
The point is
Dr. Rugyendo, we must make ourselves very clear.
Please.
I can understand the dilemma of my senior brother Baguma.
Yes.
And for him as a moderator, he is supposed to bring these questions to us for the public to be able to understand, appreciate them in depth. The truth of the matter is, NRM is not an angelic government. They have got problems, just like any other government, by the way. There are problems in Venezuela, there are problems in the United States of America. Oh yes, there are problems in UK. They did not only run from the European Union, they are also having domestic problems. Now, NRM government has not pretended that, for instance, we do not have a poor health system, because we do. It is not supposed to be at a level where it is supposed to be. We are not pretending that there is no corruption, and that is why an institution of government that checks on corruption is the one giving you that information that there is 10 trillion of Ugandan taxpayer being lost. Why? Because they want the public to become part and parcel of the vehicle to fight that vice. So therefore, at the end of the day, if, for instance, we are going to bring a Betikam from the opposition to be part of the system that is going to fight corruption, or any other person for that matter, that is going to add a voice to making sure that this country is properly run, including in making of the laws and reforms, and that is Norbert Mao. We are not going to leave any stone unturned. We shall die trying.
Odongtho, we are starting to wind down. So probably, hopefully, I will manage that you will each accept to take your 3 minutes and finish.
Okay.
So going forward,
Yep.
we adopt co-option as the solution for Uganda, and this one will deliver us.
No. Whatever we have discussed throughout these last 2 hours, do not downplay the importance of buy-in and a sustainable kind of peace to be achieved, which often in general discussion on peace discourses, mediation, what is usually maybe I wanted to use the word not prioritized or heralded as the better ideal is that elected leaders are better at achieving a more sustainable and lasting peace discussion and all that, building harmony. And it is for very simple reasons. One of them, a very important one, is that because they have the mandate of the people, but also because it is believed that because they are elected, therefore they have the good will of the people and have the people's interest in mind as they move along. But we can only say that when when we cannot achieve that, we cannot say, let us now just move on the way we are. What, for me, my argument is always, as far as this is concerned, is that we must keep talking, we must keep looking for solutions, we must keep looking for how to harmonize and build harmony in our society, in our country, and ensure that we make every effort to ensure that there is no violence, but there is dialogue and peace and all that. So for me, in my own thinking, I feel that we have lost a lot of opportunity through our political leaders being always on the extreme, ends, and they don't want to talk, and they want to always say, me, I'm strong, me, I'm the stronger part. And so if there are people, individuals, especially opinion leaders, people we respect, people who are knowledgeable, they have been former leaders, whether they are religious, whether they are cultural, whether they are political leaders, or even in many countries, lawyers, journalists, writers, researchers, people who are, by the way, for peace talks, study also, one of the areas I read about when you're talking about peace in nations, study was it 1989 breakdown of the Soviet Union? Mm-hmm. The people who were at the forefront were actually not formal institutions of negotiations between US and Russia, the former Soviet Union. I think one of them, that was not the 1989, I think earlier, when actually President Kennedy used a brother who with a lot of contact and respect the other side to broker peace. And so for me, I think that on principle, those are some of the statecraft maneuvers. Let's use statecraft maneuvers to achieve anything, not necessarily co-option. If those maneuvers can bring us lasting and sustainable solutions to our problem, stability, peace, most especially development and transformation of this country, for me, I'm at peace.
Rugarama, I have been asked to put this to you that if this viewer has understood that if co-option is complete and the other political players are swallowed, then the need for dialogue is vanquished. That's the viewer.
My answer to that is that dialogue is in so many shapes and sizes. Co-option is one of them. That is now answered. So finally, my last statement is that the truth of the matter is that the circumstances under which Nsibambe-led team met the president may appear suspicious to some sections of the people, but I'm glad that the team that we have brought here have managed to see through the ultimate importance of having seemingly informal interactions, because that way we are headed to probably what we now call the dialogue of formal institutions like political parties and government. I want to conclude on this by observing that every effort made by any of us here and away from here to make this country a better country is welcome.
So would you therefore predict that this is the launch pad for the national dialogue that a lot of people have called for?
It is very, very likely that actually we are going to have a national dialogue, which in the understanding of a Ugandan is a national dialogue.
I like ideas when they come from the audience. Dr. Rugyendo,
Yes.
somebody says that many times processes that involve peace talking, dialoguing, need guarantors. In this case, she says she doesn't see any
No,
of those.
of course, she's very right in the sense that, in the sense of the way the NRM works, allows to work informally, and also the fact that I think they have realized that going forward as a country, there is a need to de-escalate the polarization in our politics, and so therefore, if co-option is the tactical solution to that, then the strategy is going to be the overall broader engagement of the different segments of the society to chart a way forward for our country, and you see this has been an ongoing process, like you said. Just recently, if you look at the Mao option, if you look at the UPC groups, it's just that just even the FDC, the main one, the one that stayed, it is these other two, particularly NUP that probably where NRM has been having challenges. But I agree with her. Yes, there are no guarantors, but there are other structures that have been in place. There is the Interreligious Council, for example. There is the iPod itself. Because if it were not working, then I wonder why, for example, NUP was asking about their funding. You see, that already is an indicator that there are structures in place that can guarantee even future dialogues. What has happened now for me, I think, is tactical. The strategy is going to be the broader one, and that's what we should all encourage, in my view. I have heard, if the rumors are correct, that yes, the strategy now going forward in terms of making sure that the country is politically stable is speaking to these groups, because there are informal processes going on to speak to these groups. The ones that are in the opposition, for example, how do you make sure that yes, you have vanquished them, but how do we work with them? It happened in 1986 up to, I think, around that the first broad-based government, when everybody was co-opted. Actually, that's the whole point. But now, along the way, because of multipartyism, the country became polarized, and things just can't move. But how do you make sure that things move? People are not agreeing with you, they have not voted you, others have refused to turn up at the polling stations, but the country must move. How does it move? Co-opt, continue the dialogue, co-opt dialogue. That parliament, who's running it, for example? Is it former members of FDC? Actually, FDC is the one running parliament. There are issues, yes, that have come up, but there are also good things that have come out of that parliament. And in my view, that tells you that co-option is not a bad thing. Why? Because you are co-opting Ugandans who also feel they have a stake, they have a say in the affairs of the country. You are not co-opting aliens from us. You are co-opting fellow Ugandans who have a point to make.
Actually, NRM is living up to its name, broad-based.
Yes, okay. But for me, that is the politics. My problem, I have been saying it here and elsewhere, are these other challenges that are simple mistakes that should not be happening. Arrest the thieves. Fix the roads. Fix the problems in corruption. Fix the problems in our education system.
Do away with criminality.
Criminality, the health systems, the health sector, all these things.
Those are basics.
Jobs, where can we find the jobs? How do we create opportunities for people who have just gone through our schools and they cannot find something to do? How do you create those kinds of opportunities. For me, those are the core issues that touch everybody, and for me, that's why I have a challenge right now, and I think journalism has to lead the way here. Civil society must continue. Shows of this nature must continue to expose and push the state to function as a proper system that needs to serve everyone.
And that's, I think, where we, bring it to the end. Okay. You have outlined the issues we need to dialogue about. We have debated the method, because we've discussed the issues. We seem to agree. Whether co-option is the best method to deal with these issues is still very debatable. Whether dialogue that delivers the solutions to this country will happen because groups are co-opted into the yellow bus and then that will deliver the country is very debatable, I think.
But actually, I forget something there, which I need to demonstrate. If you go to Rwanda here, just down here, there are certain positions, even in cabinet, that are reserved for the opposition, even in parliament.
The speaker.
Okay, so I would like to thank you very much. Yes. It is understood. But it's a 99 point.
But Uganda
but it's a 99 point something percent.
Perfect.
Election result.
But you ensure.
Also to transplant.
But you ensure that the other ones,
those things, Rugyendo, that you are talking about, might be a bit challenging.
You are a cattle keeper. Let me tell you something that yes. Cattle keepers usually talk about. That that's
translate that one, because I don't think all our people have understood.
That is the exact translation for winner takes it all.
Okay.
That's for you are angry. That's for you are angry.
10 seconds on the winner take it all.
So
3 years ago, I will try to interest you in a research which was done, and I read it, on the issue of the danger of the kind of politics we have, which is why we need to try to bring the entire country and also listen to voices which are just opinion, or leaders and all that. We discovered that where we have now reached, many times, like in this case, we got, was it 53%? Was it turn up? Now, when you have 11 million people who have turned up out of registered 21 million people, you are not yet even talking about the general national population of 45. That means you have got barely 52% of people participating in the election. Then the winner gets 70% of that. It is already below 50% of even the registered voters. Now, even from the start, it means that even the winner has won is the minority, not the majority. Therefore, the winner takes it all is a dangerous path to follow, especially where we are now. If we want to get national consensus, the best is to do national consensus, but can you get everybody on board? It is hard.
Okay, that's the question, and I would like to leave you, our audience, with that question. I would also like to leave everyone thinking about the place of a national dialogue in the current and the future of our country, and whether the approaches that are happening now will deliver us or not. And it's important that all of us as a population think about this, because when things head south, we all head south there, and when things are good, we all. I would like to wish you a good night. I would like to thank you very much for staying with us. I would like to thank for those ones who have participated and sent me in questions to put to these gentlemen, Dr. Arinaitwe Rugyendo, Dr. Daniel Rugarama, and Bwana Charles Odongtho. Thank you so much for spending your time and coming to Family TV. I would like to thank the team, which is in technical team, making sure that these things reach you. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Keep it Family TV, and see you next Wednesday. We continue the discussion on our socials, so please check them out and continue the discussion. Baguma Richard, I would like to send my condolences to my family in Nkokonjeru, in Mbarara. I would like to, especially Mami, for the loss of my very dear Bakesh. That's what we call each other. or what we have been calling each other. Pamela Tumwebaze of the Uganda Christian University, dean there. She was murdered last night by thugs who broke into her house. But anyway, we wish her soul eternal peace. Have a good night.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.